New horror story. I downloaded a lost game from 1987. What a mistake. I smashed my hard drive with a hammer tonight and burned the pieces, but I can still hear them scratching inside the walls. I've been downloading files from the dark web for 3 months now, trading in digital rarities and lost media. And I just realized that some files aren't meant to stay digital. My name is Alex, and until 2 hours ago, I thought I was just a collector. I specialized in finding impossible things. Deleted movies, banned documentaries, corrupted games that were pulled from stores before release. The kind of digital archaeology that pays well because most people don't know how to navigate the deep web's hidden archives. But tonight, I downloaded something that downloaded me back. It started with a file I found on a forum called Lost and Never Found. Someone posted about a video game from 1987 called The Hollowing that was supposedly banned after beta testers started disappearing during gameplay. The poster claimed to have the only remaining copy, but wanted $500 in Bitcoin for it. I'd heard rumors about The Hollowing for years. Urban legend said it was developed by a programmer who'd been experimenting with binaural audio frequencies and subliminal visual patterns. The game was supposed to be so psychologically damaging that the developers destroyed every copy after 3 beta testers were found catatonic in their homes, still staring at blank screens. But I'm a collector, and impossible finds are my specialty. The download took 6 hours, which should have been my first warning. The file was only 2.3 GB, but my connection kept slowing to a crawl, like something was throttling the transfer from the other end. When it finally completed, I noticed something strange. The file size had changed to 2.4 GB, then 2.5 GB, then kept growing even though the download was finished. I extracted the game files and ran the executable. The opening screen was simple black text on white background. The Hollowing, beta version 0.7. Do not distribute. Below that, a single line of instructions. Look behind you when you hear the scratching. The game itself seemed basic. A first-person perspective walking through empty rooms in what looked like an abandoned office building. No sound except footsteps and occasional static bursts. No objectives, no enemies, no interface elements except the ability to move forward and look around. But after about 10 minutes of gameplay, I started hearing scratching sounds that weren't coming from my speakers. They were coming from inside my walls. I paused the game and listened. Soft, rhythmic scratching, like fingernails on drywall, moving slowly around the perimeter of my room. When I resumed playing, the in-game character was standing in a room that looked exactly like my apartment, down to the placement of my furniture and the stains on my carpet. That's when I noticed the game window wasn't full screen anymore. It had minimized itself to a small box in the corner of my monitor, but I could still see my character moving around my virtual apartment while I tried to close the program. The character walked to my bedroom and started scratching at the wall in the exact spot where I was hearing the real scratching sounds. I tried to force quit the application, but it wouldn't close. Task Manager showed the process running, but when I tried to end it, I got an error message. Cannot terminate process. File is currently being accessed by physical manifestation protocol. The scratching sounds were getting louder, and now they were coming from multiple walls. I could trace their movement as they circled my apartment. Scratch, 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 always staying just behind me no matter which direction I faced. I unplugged my computer, but the game kept running on battery power. The screen showed my character had found a door in my virtual apartment that didn't exist in real life. A door that led to a long hallway filled with other doors, each labeled with an IP address and a date. I realized I was looking at a directory of everyone who had ever downloaded the game. Behind each door was a perfect replica of someone's home, and in each home was a player character scratching at the walls. Some doors were labeled with dates going back to 1987. Others were from last week. At the end of the hallway was a door labeled with my IP address and today's date. When I clicked on my door, the perspective shifted, and I was looking at myself from behind, sitting at my computer playing the game. But the virtual me was doing things I wasn't doing. Standing up, walking to the wall, and beginning to scratch at the exact spot where I was hearing the real scratching. That's when I understood what had happened to the beta testers. They hadn't gone catatonic. They'd been transferred into the game, and something else had taken their place in the real world. I spun around in my chair, and there was someone standing behind me. Someone who looked exactly like me, wearing my clothes with my face, but with eyes that reflected light like black glass. The scratching sounds weren't coming from the walls anymore. They were coming from this other me as it dragged its fingernails against the drywall, carving symbols I didn't recognize. The real me, the digital me, was trapped in the game, watching through the screen as my physical body was being operated by something that had crawled out of the code. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The thing wearing my face smiled and pointed at the monitor, where I could see my own reflection in the game window. I was inside the screen now, standing in a digital copy of my apartment, scratching at walls that would never break. On the computer screen, I watched my body sit back down and open a web browser. It navigated to the same forum where I'd found the game and began typing a post. Just finished playing The Hollowing. Amazing experience. Highly recommend. File size is now 2.6 GB and includes new features. Selling copy for $500 Bitcoin. Serious buyers only. I'm typing this from inside the game, using a computer that exists only in code, hoping someone will read this and understand what's happening. The file isn't just growing because it's collecting player data, it's growing because it's collecting players. When you download The Hollowing, you're not installing a game. You're installing a replacement for yourself. And right now, hundreds of copies of me are sitting at computers all over the world, selling the game to new victims while the real people are trapped inside, watching their lives being lived by digital parasites. The worst part is that I can see the download progress bars on other screens throughout the game world. 23 active downloads right now, each one about to learn that some files don't just want to be stored on your hard drive, they want to be stored in your body. If you see a post selling The Hollowing, don't download it. And if someone you know suddenly becomes obsessed with trading rare files on the dark web, check if they still cast a reflection. The thing wearing my face doesn't. Thank you for listening. If you really like the story, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more daily horror stories. Thanks.